In relation to the election campaign, how worried are you about turnout, given the fact that the big issue that seems to be dominating at the moment is the one of expenses?
Well, I mean, I think in England in particular, there's a huge press focus on all of this, and of course, over the course of recent times, we've seen a focus here. For our part in Sinn Féin, we have no concerns whatsoever. I think Gerry Adams said this morning on the Nolan show that there's a gravy train, but Sinn Féin's not on it. I've been an MP for 12 years, and I haven't had one halfpenny from the British government on wages. Gerry Adams has been an MP for longer than that, as has Pat Doherty and Michelle Gildernew. In fact, the British government owe us millions. They also deny us the policy development grant, which over the course of, say, 5 years of the Westminster is a loss to Sinn Féin of another $500,000.
Well, they deny it because you don't turn up.
And they also deny us. Yeah, but they do pay for our staff. They do pay for our offices. They know we supply a service. It just defies logic to me that they can provide funding for the essential representation that Sinn Féin MPs make, but yet deny us the wages, which of course we don't want for ourselves. Our wages at the Assembly here and for our MEPs goes directly into a central Sinn Féin fund, and we're then paid an average industrial wage. In fact, the person who drove me here today to my work gets the same money every week, just over £300 as I get. And what's more, I can actually prove that. We're also denied communications allowance, which amounts to £50,000 a year for the 5 Sinn Féin MPs, which is £250,000 over a 5-year period. So the British government really does owe Sinn Féin millions.
OK, but I suppose the question that a lot of people have is, given the size of the rent that you're paying in London, which seems to be bigger than the average, considerably bigger, is whether or not the landlord is doing exactly what you do in handing some money back to the party at the end of the day. Is he a donor to Sinn Féin?
Well, my information, absolutely not. What we do is that we pay a rent. None of us own properties in London. Absolutely none of us benefit in any way whatsoever. The money that is paid in the rent is paid by Sinn Féin to the landlord. What the landlord does with that money is a matter for himself. But it's not everywhere in London that Sinn Féin MPs can live. I mean, there are people in England and in London attached to Combat 18 and the National Front. And there may also be a tiny number of former British soldiers who still regard Sinn Féin as the enemy. So Sinn Féin has to be very careful about the accommodation that we have. Okay. And in this instance, I think that's the reason why our costs are high.
Martin McGuinness, many thanks indeed.